Today is the 24th of May, 2020, and it's 1:19 a.m. in the morning over here in the UK. I do apologize, I really didn't mean to start the video at that time, but there you go. I was looking at the the past, and for whatever reason, my mind was drawn to the 2018 Hawaii Force Missile Alert. We covered it on this channel and many others. On the morning of Saturday, January the 13th, 2018, a ballistic missile alert was issued by the Emergency Alert System and Commercial Mobile Alert System over television, radio, and cell phones in the state of Hawaii. The alert stated that there was an incoming ballistic missile threat to Hawaii, advised residents to seek shelter, and concluded this is not a drill. The message was sent at 8:07 a.m. local time. However, no civil defense outdoor warning sirens were authorized or sounded by the state. This is what the text looked like. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. And through some new revelations that I've seen in the iPad Go 2 video, which I'll address in just a second, I'm wondering if the missile threat was supposed to be real. If there was actually supposed to be, on that day, a missile threat to Hawaii and potentially the volcanoes there, and potentially the collapsing of the volcano and the whole tsunami scenario that we talked about in the Pacific and the tsunami heading for the west coast. In this report that was published 1 month after the false missile alert, it's reported that the Hawaii worker who sent the missile alert was 100% sure that the attack was real. And that just made me curious, because when I went back to the iPad Go 2 video, I've taken a screenshot. That specific date of January the 13th, 2018 can be taken out of this particular scene here. Now I'll just do the year first, 2018. Two seeds, 0, 1, 8 in the middle, 2018. Then January 0, 1, and then the 13th, 1 empty pocket, 3 seeds in total. Even potentially the time where you have 8 in the middle just here and the 7 off to the side just here. I've often said, and in other videos I've shown you, that I haven't taken the time to bring out this time, but down here on the ground is a missile coming out of the tsunami, or the beginnings of a submarine. I usually say it's a missile because in the images where I've flipped it around and made it a bit clearer, I can see the number 2 on the missile, and that connected me with Russia's Satan II missile, or Sarmat 2, which is a nuclear missile with multiple warheads. But just the fact that you can get that specific date, 13th of January 2018, out of this apple, and it is connected to Hawaii, and there is a missile in there as well, it just made me think that maybe it was actually supposed to happen, and for whatever reason it didn't. But that doesn't mean that it's still not going to happen, although I hope and pray that it doesn't. It's just something I found very curious and very interesting, and not too little, but a little bit alarming. And I'm kind of over the surprises that this video can bring out after you've looked at it for a number of years and you still see new things. But when you go back and you look at certain things, like the missile threat of Hawaii, we know that Obama's from Hawaii and that there is a volcano there which did erupt in 2018. That was Kilauea, but it didn't have anything to do with a missile as far as I know, and it didn't have the effect of causing a tsunami. But I do remember publishing a report not long after that was talking about, I think it was NASA that had sent a submarine down to the bottom of the ocean around the volcano, investigating, I say that with air quotes although you can't see it, investigating the effect the volcanic eruption was having on the marine life and the marine ecosystem. However, as I said, I never ever found any reports of the submarine returning with any data or anything like that, or even whether the submarine was a manned or unmanned vehicle. Obviously, if it's unmanned, then the fact that it could potentially still be there, waiting for another time when it could possibly cause all of this, is more likely than if it was manned. Because obviously, if it's manned, there's food and supplies you've got to worry about, and I'm still watching out, and because of the potential link with the date and time of the false missile threat on Hawaii potentially coming up in here, where it looks like it was actually supposed to be real, I'm looking at the same information and wondering if potentially July 8th could be another time where they attempt this activity. Perhaps reverse it, use the time as a date, so July 8th, and then use the date as a time, potentially 3:11, 11 minutes past 3, which is around the time that children leave school, so it would fit in with this whole classroom scene and the exit lighting up in the background as well. That's all I really want to kind of address today. I was going to talk about a bunch of news reports, but I think I'll just leave that for another video and just upload this one. I'm just bringing it back here to show those who haven't seen this video the exit lighting up in the background just there. Obviously we're in a classroom with children. The exit door is open, suggesting to me that a time frame of when children finish school, which is about 3 p.m., 3:30, is when some of these events that they have, or maybe the biggest event that starts a lot of other events, happens. So keep an eye out always, because we're in very turbulent times. But just as a potential interpretation for another Hawaii-like event, keep an eye out on July 8th, which, if anything was to occur around that time, I'm also looking out for, the potential shooting or heart attack or whatever of Donald Trump around July 5th. So that would just be 3 days later where this attack would take place, and that would kind of fit into the timeline, because I've got the interpretation then. Sorry, not July 5th. Is July 5th? Yes, July 5th. Because I've also got the interpretation for China coming forward, either going into North Korea. And that's another thing. I really didn't want to get into all of this because there's so much information and I haven't brought it up on the screen. So I'm just talking with the same information on the screen. But with the situation with North Korea, in April, mid-April, late April, reports were coming out that the North Korean leader had died, or he'd had heart surgery and there were complications, and he was, he'd not done well. And since then, apparently, he's been seen, but people are saying it's a body double. And I do remember reports that I was talking about earlier, around 2017 times, where North Korea and Kim Jong-un, had body doubles. And obviously there is that famous body double as well of the North Korean leader. So if that's one, there is most likely others. So if that's the case, and North Korea's in a bit of a turmoil situation, obviously they've got nuclear weapons, and the situation there would be that the United States would feel that the nuclear weapons weren't safe if the regime wasn't, under control, under any control at all, but especially if not under the control of Kim Jong-un, and it was just going wild over there. They would essentially have to step in to, try and safeguard those nuclear weapons. But then obviously China would want to step in and safeguard those nuclear weapons. And I think if I just go back to the IPEC Goat 2 video, that's potentially a reason. That's not the video. That's potentially a reason why we have this scene with China and later on, where they're coming forward from one side, and it looks like the representation of America with the skeleton, which looks like Abraham Lincoln, which I think is connected to Donald Trump, is on the other side. And that would potentially be leaving South Korea, the country the girl potentially represents, in the middle, trying to wave for peace. Obviously they've been going for peace with North Korea for 3 years now. Not 3 years, sorry, 2 1.5 2 years. And that's again another symbol: denuclearization, love. That's everything they were doing with North Korea. But obviously, if Kim Jong Un is dead, and China and the United States are going to wrestle over the nuclear weapons that North Korea, or the nuclear material that North Korea has or has developed, then that kind of does put sorry about that. Does kind of put South Korea in the middle, just as it would show in this image here. And again, heavy connection to number 5, 5 tanks, 5 fireworks, and just taking a guess, July 5th coming just after July 4th, where the heavy emphasis on fireworks, Independence Day. That's a potential date to look out for. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.